it just has a compounding effect on just your mood psychologically, mentally, and it just kind of keeps further moving things along. I had a client yesterday tell me, he's like, man, I really got to get on those 10-minute walks because I got an Apple Watch, and I've never heard. He was just like, I averaged 1,000 steps a day last week. I was like, what? I was like, how do you only move 1,000?
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah. It's like, that's horrible. That's horrible. I was like, that is not, I can't even sugarcoat this for you. That's fucking terrible.
Even when you were a powerlifter at your heaviest, were you still walking a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I had the kids and we were moving around, and I was a trainer.
Coach,
so I was moving a lot. But I couldn't believe, and I mean, this is a skinny guy too. And I'm like, yeah, this is amazing.
Think about what happens to people, in the hospital when they're laid up for a while. You start to atrophy, and that's going to happen to many of us if we're not moving.
Right.
You need some sort of movement every day, and I really strongly encourage anyone, just if you have an opportunity to look at some sort of tracker. I don't know if everyone knows, but like your Apple phone, there's a little thing that has a heart on it, and you can see your steps right there. Yep. So I would encourage anybody to work on trying to increase that by about 5,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Like, what's the norm for you? Just kind of look at that and just say, hey, it doesn't have to be tomorrow that you do it, but just over time, I want to increase that by 5,000 steps. Now, if you have anything that hinders you from doing that, then you got to be more cautious, and you might want to think, all right, well, maybe I got to do a recumbent bike, or maybe I have to swim, or have to do something different. Because there's people with like feet problems and knee problems and all kinds of other things. So you don't want to make those things worse. That's the worst thing you can do. But you've been talking about walking for forever. I mean, you're the one that kind of kicked me off with walking. And that was probably, I want to say probably almost like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were like, you told me like to start walking. And I'm like, that's like old people exercise. Like, what are you talking about? You're like, it's the perfect fat guy thing ever because it just burns a little bit of calories. You're like, just walk around your block. And I remember literally just walking around my block. And then once I did that a couple times, you were like, well, put on like, but I think I lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
I maybe lost like 20 pounds. And you're like, put on a vest or put on a backpack that weighs 5-10 pounds.
Yeah. And
I was like, 5 or 10 pounds ain't gonna do shit. But you're like, again, it's going to burn more calories. We got to go over this again, Smelly, So you encouraged me to do that. I started doing that. And then after a while, I started walking around with like 11-pound weight vest. But it looked like a bulletproof jacket. So I kind of stopped doing that after a while. But it was effective. It worked great.
Yeah, we can complicate things as much as you want to. And, there's a lot of people out there who, like me, who have the ability to make things as complicated as you want. But in all reality, it's really simple. If everybody's got 10 minutes to go out there and, just take a walk, and that's all that it really takes. And then it's just going to have a compounding factor. If you're outside, get a little bit of sun, breathe some fresh air, or what, depending on, how bad fires are and where you are in the world. It just has a compounding effect on just your mood psychologically, mentally, and it just kind of keeps further moving things along.
Power Project family, what if I told you that you could eat cereal that doesn't mess with your diet, that doesn't have massive amounts of sugar, that doesn't give you the bubble guts, and that's actually really good for you? Well, that's why we partner with the Magic Spoon. 0 grams of sugar, 4 grams of net carbs, 14 grams of protein, and 140 calories per serving, and it actually tastes like kid cereal. God dang it. Andrew, how can people get it?
Absolutely. You guys got to head over to magicspoon.com/powerproject, and that'll get you $5 off the variety pack. Links to them down in the description. Let's get back to this video.
And when I was talking to you about that was just based off of like just general GPP aerobic cardio. It was just like basically plugged in I did all this, again, complicating things for you. And it was just like, it took your resting heart rate and, did the Carbonian formula. And it was like, okay, we need to keep you somewhere between 120 and 140. And, for this and anything else, we need, 20 minutes of, under, we don't want to get you to anywhere over 120. And it started to take you, that's when you become more fit, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like, then you have to add either work harder by going faster or adding weight or walking up a hill or something along those lines. So it can be very, very easy. And, to kind of your question, your point, for someone looking to make a change, it's one meal and 1 10-minute walk a day. And then it's just going to keep compounding because you're going to feel better. Yeah. And then you're going to want more. And then, and then the buffet of fitness is kind of opened up to you. So, it's fun to complicate things, and it's neat to, know a lot of stuff. But I mean, it's really kind of comical, that, I get to use like 1% of the stuff that I know, but it's 100% effective, which is great, which is all that really matters, when we come down to it.
And don't complicate taking walks too. Like if you have to take a phone, if you have to take a fucking phone call, just go outside, walk with whatever headphones on, and take that phone call. Because a lot of people are like, oh, but I work 9 to 5, and okay, then stand at your desk, and if you can, just like randomly go and walk around the office or something. Just get more steps in.
I mean, Tiny Tiff, when she was doing September. Sorry,
Walktober.
She would just whatever it was. She would just walk in a circle when she was watching like football games, and she would just sit there and just walk in circles because she was trying to get her steps in and stuff. So it's just like it can be that easy. You don't have to even go outside if you don't want to. If you're scared to go outside, just walk in your house.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything difficult. And for me, sometimes even just planning a day or setting something up, I'll just go into my notes on my phone and I'll hit record, and I'll record just me talking about like the week. Like, oh, this week I have, Ben Patrick's or this month I got Ben Patrick coming in at the end of the month. Don't forget to call Jesse, talk to him. Let's work on setting things up. And I'll just leave myself some notes. Then I look down at my time or my steps, and I already walked 10, 15 minutes, make a couple phone calls.
Yeah.
Just whatever you got to do to make the time go by. Listen to podcasts, listen to books. It's a place to educate yourself too.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than also like being in nature and being in some elements that are just different than our day to day of like the hustle of being inside buildings and having artificial light on us all day long. You're outside, you got the sun, there's trees, there's other things around. Maybe you can find some interesting places to walk where there's like some decent scenery.
Yeah.
That will make it a little easier. And for me, I try to walk in a lot of different spots. Sometimes I'm in the woods, not like woods, but like on a trail, because I don't want to get lost. But then I'll be like, downtown Davis or something, or just a downtown area where there's people. Because when there's people, it gives me more energy. So on a day where I feel a little bit more tired, don't feel like doing something, I'm like, if I see other people moving, that's going to encourage me to want to move. And sometimes I'm walking and literally like old people will pass by me and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, that lady was probably like in her 70s. That's not good. I need to speed up.
Like, hey, Gertrude, slow down.
Hey, you, before you leave, listen up. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also ring that notification bell because we continue to bring you peak content. So don't leave us hanging. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we will see you soon.